Welcome to Gossip About Gossip, powered by Hedera Hashgraph. In each episode, we'll cut through the hype of blockchain promises and explore real-world examples of organizations creating the next generation of decentralized applications, which will bring trust back to the internet for us all.
Welcome to the final episode of Season 4 of Gossip About Gossip. I just want to thank everyone. This has been a great year. We have seen some amazing projects, and you are the ones making it possible. The people here, the teams, the projects, the enterprises, all of you in the community have made this a fantastic year for building Hedera and the ecosystem and setting the foundation for a 100-year project. We have seen some very interesting things this year on Gossip About Gossip, Season 4. And now we're right around the corner from Season 5. I think it'd be good to just take a look back and see what some of the highlights were of Season 4. So let's get started. I just want to say thank you and hello, future.
The distributed ledger is the missing link that connects our program of generating the credits with the platform. Again, this trading platform for physicals is already in production in hemp. It's customized for carbon. We're just waiting for a pipeline of inventory to build so that we can go live with this thing. And then we need to put this distributed ledger in there. And one of the reasons we love the Hedera network is the low cost, low energy and the speed of it. When you're talking about saving the environment, you have to walk the walk, and you have to go with the vendors that don't consume vast amounts of energy to run it. So we are still early days in that. It's the missing link, but it's also the last piece. To be perfectly transparent, right now the priority is getting carbon credits. It's not an overnight process. And so we want to, there's no point in having this super robust platform without the inventory of credits to trade. So simultaneously this year, we're onboarding the clients, getting the first credits issued, and then getting that ledger piece implemented.
People did not know what Hedera was about during that time. They know now. And with regards to the various organizations that Hedera is part of, which I found fantastic, whether it's Swirls Labs, the Foundation, Hashgraph Association. It's a magnificent group of colleagues. And it's the first time I had a chance to actually visit with them. But, the sessions that were, I have to say, whether you were talking about policy, whether you were talking about, how do you actually use these technologies to create what we call trust, and why it's trust? One of the aspects that I personally was participating in various conversations about what differentiates Hedera from others, and that is trust. And not easily said, but it's enterprise driven. That our companies have joined the council, have joined the group. They drive the conversations with Hedera. We have people who are responsible from the policy side of the house. We have, we have somebody who's a CFO. We have communications officers yourself. I mean, we have just, and also you have lawyers who are involved in making sure that we do have governance. And that's a differentiator from what people have, from what people have experienced in the past. And, we are we are very inclusive.
And so what made you decide, hey, this is the time for us to join the governing council of a blockchain?
Well, I think there's two reasons really, Zenobia. The first one is, as I mentioned, we have a lot of infrastructure products, and our customers are increasingly moving from centralizing them in one location to distributing them across multiple locations, whether it's multi-cloud or whether it's edge. So we believe that a distributed ledger will be a critical part of the architecture for edge computing. We need some sort of trusted, multi-party, way to communicate business transactions. And so Dell is increasingly exploring distributed ledger technology, and Hedera has that enterprise focus that we really liked. So that's reason number one that we've decided to join. The second reason is that our customers are increasingly interested, experimenting with writing applications that run on distributed ledgers. So for us, when we join the council, right, to actually implement a node, right, a Dell server running on the Hedera network, we'll gain valuable experience that we can and then turn and share with our customers and help them on their journey to use distributed ledgers. Well, I think the biggest thing we're excited about in working with all these other council members is that they've already gone through the process of installing an enterprise class trusted server in their infrastructure and got it running, right, for a specific use case. And it may or may not be edge, right? So when we come to the council and we begin to collaborate with and work other companies like a Boeing or an IBM or a ServiceNow or a Google, we'll gain this visibility into, well, what kind of applications are they running? Because we'll bump into those customers. There probably will be Dell customers trying to solve those exact same problems. So we tap into this rich network of use cases that are already in flight, already have a lot of thought put behind them, and that can accelerate solutions for our customers, which is something we're really excited about.
You know, we did extensive market research, and one of the biggest challenges or requirements for cycling is a very carbon-friendly environment that we do.
Yeah, with their ethos, right?
Exactly right. So, and there's been previous examples of NFT or Web3 projects in cycling that has failed because they did not address this or they didn't take that seriously. Right. So first and foremost, we needed to find a network partner that had the best carbon neutral approach and had the most efficient sort of, scalability around that. So after extensive research, of course, Hedera was an outright, winner in terms of all of that. So that is an important part which we will be addressing. Hedera was obviously a no-brainer when it came to the consensus mechanism, its scalability, its EVM, compliance or compatibility, which means that when we are looking about cross-chain or multiple or interoperable options, that's going to also be key down the road at some point. Because again, what are your definition of the metaverse could be a different definition, but it should be this whole interoperable environment. We can't crowbar paths or user journeys down a certain path because we believe it's right. It has to be this, this mix match. But Hedera is one of the easiest options for us to do because it's scalable, it's incredibly efficient, and it's also very cost effective. We didn't want to go with a solution that obviously had, high gas fees or high network fees or something like that, because one, we're talking to an audience that they don't even know what a gas fee is, right? And then we go, okay, well, yeah, you have to do this. And then, by the way, there's a secondary or a third component to cost implications. We're going to lose all of our audience. So we had to choose a network that was the most cost efficient also. And I mean, if you do your due diligence here, there is like way out in the front. And also, if you look at the conglomerate that is behind, or the group of conglomerates that are behind Hedera, you've got the likes of Google and those type of blue chips. It is an incredibly strong, professional ecosystem. So Hedera for us was an absolute logical choice, and we're excited about working with the Hedera teams and whatever this might look like in the future.
And so as you look ahead, what do you see coming up for Unstoppable Domains in the next 6 to 12 months? And we won't hold you to any of these predictions, I promise.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean, right now, in this market, the whole market, but us in general, we are building. We are heads down, kind of grinding through this downturn in the market. And some of the things that we're really excited about are adding more and more layers of interesting, points of control and communication and, profile ownership in addition to what we already have. And so, that's one of the things I really like about Hedera is, the really fast transaction times and, very low gas fees predictable and constant gas fees. They're not like changing all the time like we see on other networks. And so, this isn't something that we're necessarily planning, but one of the things that I was thinking about that would be so cool would be, like with the mobile app that we already have, if we could combine that with some type of point of ticketing, right? Like, for example, you've gone to an event and you've got your domain and your entry point or access is some type of NFT that you've been granted to, a verified address that's attached to your domain. And you need speed in that case. A network like Hedera, like you can, I'm just imagining, this queue behind you. You're like, I'm sorry, we're waiting for blockchain confirmations right now. like that's never going to fly. So, a network that can handle the load would be really cool. I'm picturing like, present your NFT, the person at the door scans it, burn the NFT, and now you're airdropped a receipt, something like that in place. Something like that would be super cool.
Dan, you talked a little bit about, a use case. Can you share a little more about the kinds of industries that you're seeing interest from?
Yeah, so our first implementation of the Dovu widget was with a government project in Queensland. One of the things they were looking to do was get some idea about the carbon footprint of their building, first of all, and then whether the level of solar investment they were making would cover the usage enough of their building. It turns out it wouldn't quite cover it 100%, but they wanted the building to be carbon neutral. So where Dovu comes into that is it allows us to implement their widget, but importantly, it's the information that we get off the back of it. So because Dovu has carbon credits on Hedera, like not many other people do right now, maybe not even anybody actually, and the easy integration for it allows us to, at the moment it's a kind of manual process. We choose how much of the overage that we want to offset through the Dovu widget, but this can be automated in the future, and it's something that we'll look at. But importantly, it's what the Dovu system provides us back, which is a state proof that retirement actually happened. So a state proof for those non-technical people on there is a cryptographic proof that a transaction happened on the Hedera network. And what that allows us to do is feed that state proof into our audit level reports. And then what it gives us is, along with what the timeless solution provides, which is an end-to-end, fully trusted pathway through how carbon moves through a system, we can actually then take it one step further and show that the retirement actually happened on-chain on Hedera, basically giving a full end-to-end carbon creation, carbon offset. And I don't think anybody else is doing that at the moment. I think that's a really exciting reason for why we chose to work with Dovu, because it's something that really does give end-to-end. And it's, once the auditors kind of see this kind of stuff, they're like, wow, okay, like you've made my job so much easier. I don't even have to think about how I have to go and fetch all of this information, because it's all there. It's all encoded in the token. I can see that you've offset it. I can see the cryptographic proof of it. I've got Dovu's credentials for it. And it's really, they just need to go rubber stamp, and that's it.
Well, what we stand for is we want to build a quality project, high quality design, high quality gameplay. And we'd love to bring that. Well, we're already here, but still finishing, of course, bring it to Hedera, showing that Hedera has strong projects and set them even more on the map. But mainly our focus will be gaming and getting gamers to onboard the whole system, because it's such a big part of the world that almost everyone is gaming. So if you get gamers in Web3, well, everyone will know it. And for us personally, we're working on a lot of things still. Now we're working on a new mini game, sidekick game. Maybe you can say that, because what we're building is a long build. Of course, this is not something that you finish in a few months, but in the next couple of months we will finish a mini game. I do like the word sidekick game, Milan. Maybe we should do that, like sidekick animals. We'll talk about that in the team meeting. But and even there, we like to show quality already, and that will be the beginning of earning Steam, the utility token of our big gameplay. So there's a lot going on.
So I'd love to just hear, your story in terms of you've been developing this product for quite some time. How has that journey been?
Yeah, so last, I would say a year, I started thinking about a hardware wallet, developing something like that for more than a year ago, I would say. Initially, it was just a concept. It was just an idea in the back of my mind. I would always go back and forth if I should start building it or not. And also, I needed to do a lot of research and understand these hardware wallets. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with developing something like this. You're building a product that the community needs to trust and believe that it is actually going to secure their assets. And if they get hacked or all their funds are getting stolen, there is a lot of responsibility that comes with that. So understanding that, realizing that, I took my time, and it took me maybe like 6 months to do the research properly, look into other hardware wallets in the ecosystem, see what they're doing, what their limitations are in terms of security, user friendliness, feature support, and collecting all of that information. Eventually, I decided to start building the wallet. Now, a lot of the community members didn't know that I have a hardware engineering background, and I've been building all kinds of different complex security-focused systems for applications in military industry, avionic industry, automotive industry. So for me, being in that industry and building this product seemed like an easy next step to do. But from the community side, it was understandable that initially, not knowing that information, they were like, just this HBAR to the moon guy is going to build that. They would probably like, okay, you're taking this too far, right?
Okay, so you did not start out building on Hedera. Tell us a little bit about your journey in developing the game.
We focus on developing the game first, and then we thought of adding Web3 features because the most important thing of the game is to make it fun, and that's why we had in mind that first of all we need to focus on gameplay, and then focus on Web3 features to increase the fun and the gameplay, and that's why we thought we looked for a blockchain that suits us out, and we found first Solana, but then we found Hedera with their ecosystem, which they help us a lot. Hedera has been great to us. They show us different partners, so we can work with them. For example, with Hashgraph, we're working with them to give more features to the players, to make it easier.
You know, there are lots of DLTs that you all could have chosen to focus on. Why did you pick Hedera?
So our solution requires fast, secure, low-cost DLT because that's really what our clients need. We focus a lot on B2B cases and enterprise use cases. So with Arcaia, our goal aligns with many of those in Web3, that is to see projects with real-world utility and making large-scale impacts at a global level that expedite the adoption of Web3. So these projects will require performance, reliability, and security benefits that Hedera provides. And hopefully in the process as well, leverage Arcaia so these projects can reach their full potential.
Right. So all of the things that, you know, enterprises have come to expect from their traditional compute infrastructure and applications, I think you are starting to see them say, hey, I expect those same things from Web3.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, it just made sense to Arcaia to combine efforts also with Hedera and Google, and, you know, being that critical synergy to actually bring these use cases to life in a meaningful way.
One of the things that we're going to be doing in the Philippines with Hedera on their DLT is integrating with financial service providers, moving stable coins around and opening up additional channels to people on the ground who are in need of financial inclusion, things like welfare, like remittances, like the different financial entitlements that we get. And we've been speaking recently with some amazing introductions from the HBAR Foundation to a government body who help around 3 million coconut farmers in Philippines. And what we've been told is that they, in effect, through the connections they have with the community, affect about 10x that. So 30 million people in the Philippines are in some way connected, affected, or associated with coconut farming. And with Hedera's Guardian initiative, what we're hoping to do is leverage that there from an ESG point of view and capture and include a good chunk of those. So what we're really doing is building on top of the existing Hedera DLT, the platform that's built, bringing a new application to that, which is effectively a wallet that's merging identity with payments. And the vision that we have then is to open that up to broader financial services and creating a link between what is the Filipino peso and crypto, which includes stablecoins and HBAR. And that is a particularly tricky thing to do at the moment right now, especially with crypto being in the media. But one of the reasons that we wanted to work with Hedera and we wanted to work in the Philippines is because it's pro-crypto right now. And if you look at how the Banco Central Philippines views crypto and the applications that are out there, they're quite numerous and plentiful. So we believe that we've got a good landscape, we've got a great jurisdiction, and we've got the partnerships to really do something that is scalable, meaningful, impactful, and that leaves a legacy. And that's, again, as you say, bringing identity together. And we believe Hedera is going to be an ideal platform to help us.
For someone who has been, a gamer a long time, and maybe a little bit weary, what can you, go into a little bit more? What are those benefits for them? What are they going to get that they weren't able to get in just a traditional Web 2 experience?
Yeah, so let's use the Karate Combat partnership that we have as an example, and Karateka, which is the project we're launching with Karate Combat. So in that example, we're going to be selling playable digital fighters. So every fighter in the Karate Combat League, you're going to be able to buy them. They'll be limited at 200 per fighter, but it will look and feel like the actual fighter that's fighting in the live events. With that playable digital fighter, notice we're not calling it an NFT. Of course, it is an NFT, but it's a playable digital fighter. You can gear it up, so you can buy gear like weapons and shorts and other different items that can not only change the look of your playable digital fighter, but give it an advantage in the games. So that ownership there and the ability to change the look and feel, but also change the power and how it performs in the games for you, is something that blockchain can provide. And then being able to then go and use that in a fantasy game that gives you rewards based on the real-time events that are happening, while you're watching the stream, is really unique. And that whole experience, we believe that blockchain and Web3 is the best technology to power it in the background. We just don't lead with that messaging. We lead with the benefits for the user. I like to use an analogy. There's a couple of analogies, but if you're from the technical world and you have a website and the user is going on your website, you don't stop them and say, "Hey, we're on AWS or we're using Google Cloud," because that would be weird. Or in another example is if someone wants to use your bathroom at home, they don't ask what the pipes are made of. They just use the bathroom. So why are we leading with all this technical stuff in Web3? It's kind of a branding problem that Web3 has right now. And there's many ways to solve it, and there's many different ways to truly provide utility. We're choosing games, and other areas, I think, like loyalty and rewards for brands will be huge as well, which I know Hedera is doing a bunch of work in. But for us, we're creating that comfortable and familiar environment using games.
Hype curves are real, and I feel like the NFTs had a hype curve. And the application of a non-fungible token is much, much bigger than just a JPEG, which obviously it's not just a JPEG. There's also entire community and exclusivity there. But the concept's very complicated to explain to just a non-crypto native person. Right. So what enterprises that we've been talking to, there's been use cases from shipping and understanding tokenization of assets. I think we can even look at, Atma.io and how they're helping large-scale enterprise track things using cryptography. And it's a lot of use cases that are about transparency. And so, you get an added benefit when you do a decentralized database solution because it's no longer just like this one giant, I cracked into Equifax, I now have 100 million people's personal information. It's a decentralized method of storage. So you have security, but then information you want to be auditable is easily to put on the mainnet that anyone can then look at, which has been a use case for other enterprises as well. And, what we're trying to do at Turtle Moon is good into music NFTs. So actually May 18th, 7 p.m., my single is going to be launching on turtlemoon.io/music. And we're going to start delving into what's the mechanism of communication and interoperability between a musician directly with their fans without Spotify in the middle, and how do you make that relationship much more tangible to both parties and much more rewarding? And we're kind of diving into that, and I'm very excited to release some music and to explore that new medium, which is music distribution on Web3, and what does it mean and how does it functionally work? Because I don't think that code has been cracked just yet, and we have a little bit of a different perspective on how it might work.
How did you learn about Hedera and decide to, build the solution on Hedera?
So right in the beginning, when we were looking at the revenue share format of distribution, we were obviously, it made no sense for us to go with any platform where the transactions fees were high or variable, right? Because then the whole point, like you wouldn't get your profit margins, they would eat up into margins, and you would have predictable margins either. So we found out very early on, like I think in 2021, when I was researching, I found Hedera, which had fixed, very low fees, high transaction speed, and fixed, low, fixed, and high transaction fees, right? So it fit all the complete bill for us. Plus, I think the fact that Hedera is backed by enterprises as council members, we felt that at an early stage of blockchain, when everybody is not sure and there are so many players, we were looking for like a platform that has credibility as well.
Since the 17th of this month, we announced a major partnership with Sterling University. So, and it's basically for educational content. So let me just give you a bit of the backstory, how this all came about. So if you go to yamgo.com today, right now, you can use our advanced wallet tools. You can set up multi-signature. You can go there. You can earn HBAR by doing activities like downloading games, and you can also earn HBAR today, right now, by looking at videos. And you can have we have a number of campaigns running at the moment to learn about Yamgo, to learn about Hedera. And at the end of them, you can earn HBAR. So if you answer the question correctly, so this is a learn to earn product, which, the leader in the industry is someone like Coinbase. They heralded learn to earn. So for the past few months, we've been looking at how we can solve this educational challenge properly and have a long running program where we can educate people. And there's nowhere better to educate people than at university. There's people that are very keen to learn. The universities want to teach people how to use a digital wallet and what cryptocurrency is, and how it all works. So we started a number of months ago, 6 months ago, to be honest, talking to universities about how we could have a kind of university educational program to make sure that students are learning, about Hedera, about HBAR, how it works, how the private key works, what's a non-custodial wallet, what's a hot wallet, all of these really big key features. So, Sterling University, I'm pleased to announce, has signed a partnership with us for educational content. So, Sterling is one of the UK's top universities. It's ranked top 30 for student satisfaction. Sterling is 4th in Scotland and the 43rd, I think, in the UK for research impact. And they got a fantastic campus. It's a kind of northeast of Edinburgh.
All right, and so now you sort of have this, blank slate approach. I think that, like you said, the mortgage industry has not changed in decades, right? It's still the same processes. It's still very much the amount of paperwork you have to sign, on a mortgage or a refinance is ridiculous. Yes. But if you take this, sort of blue sky approach and you say, great, let's reimagine homeownership from the ground up, what does that look like?
Yeah, so at Quarter, it's a whole new way of thinking about home ownership. And what we've done is we have taken homeowners, people that want to go out and buy homes, and we're pairing them with people who want to invest in properties, right? That's another piece that a lot of people are locked out of. You can't participate in investing in real estate unless you are living in a home, because it's so expensive to go out, buy a property, get a property management company to take care of that. So really what Quarter is doing is we're taking the home occupant, the person who wants to buy the home, and matching them with these people who want to invest in property. And what the result of that is 50% cheaper for the consumer than a traditional mortgage, between 20 to 30% cheaper than market rent across the 13,000 zip codes that we've run our model against in the US, and returns for the investor similar to what you would see if you were to go out and buy a rental property and get a property manager and rent it out. And so it's really exciting. And the cool part about it is we're using this new distributed ledger technology to really make that possible. Because now you can come and you can fractionally invest in a property, down to $1 if that's what you want to do, and participate in this ecosystem that's never existed before, which is investment in owner-occupied real estate.
The travel industry overall is so archaic, and it's in dire need of disruption. Basically, entire infrastructure is reliant on old, outdated, complex, massive distribution channels. Okay, and involving these intermediaries and offering other people to launch a travel businesses on top of that is extremely complex. So when we say a Shopify for travel, it's not just mere word, because it's like you're building in websites which are highly complex and can handle all the travel bookings, and many people can simply white label them, put their brands on. So when we're coming to the point to communities, it's not only the people who have same group affiliations or things they would like to do it together, but there are major groups or employees. Think of like people in AAA who already are a member there. They can simply activate travel as another additional white label branded booking engine for their community. We're saving the funds, we're saving the money on their travel spend. So there are travel blogging groups, travel influencers.
But just to clarify that, so a company like AAA or Costco, right? Those sort of massive closed user groups, right? They have a membership base. They have literally billions of dollars in the bank. They can afford to build a custom booking engine. They can afford to get lawyers to get all that inventory for them and to get all the regulatory cleared. But it will cost them millions and millions of dollars to build a nice, travel experience that people are, people have very high expectations for what it feels like to interact with a travel selling service online, because the big B2C travel selling services also have billions of dollars in the bank, and it shows, right, in that beautiful travel experience that you have booking with them. So how do other organizations that are not the size of Costco or AAA, how do they launch an engine? How do they jump on this bandwagon? It is vastly out of their financial means to build all of this. We've done it for them in a fully scalable service so everybody can have that quality of experience that they can offer to their community.
And they can make it really feel sort of tailored to that group and what they want to experience.
Exactly, customizable, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, correct. It's customizable. And they save money on top of that, or make money. So.
And what does it mean to participate in the free zone?
Okay, participate means that participants looking for a company to set up here, especially on the Web3 side, they will be able to, there are close to about 170 activities on the free zone for participants, for community to actually look at setting up their companies. So one of the main things for that is, for Web3 community, it's very difficult to, let's say, open a bank account with the Web3 companies. So what we do is we wanted to narrow the gap, to close out the gap by offering that, where in Ras Al Khaimah, part of the United Arab Emirates, there are a couple of banks that literally it's majority owned by the Sheikh itself. They will be able to help out in terms of opening bank accounts for Rakdal's company.
So almost like an incubator. If you are a technology company in one of these areas, you're looking for support, you're looking to sort of have a sandbox where you can experiment and grow your technology.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things that we are quite delighted to have, we are thrilled to have, is to have Hedera HBAR Foundation to join us. There was an announcement yesterday, which is on the 3rd of July, where HBAR announced to have a cooperation with Rakdal in terms of helping out the community, setting up more Web3 companies here in Rakdal, and at the same time, probably look at more collaborations between Hedera and Rakdal.